Dear students, welcome to you all in this video program. Today in this video, I am going to take one poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, which has been prescribed in standard 10th syllabus. This very poem, A Tiger in the Zoo, has been composed by Leslie Norris. Leslie Norris was a very famous Welsh poet and a short story writer. His poems won many prizes. His first book of poetry came in 1943. Now let us know the outline of the poem. In this very poem, the poet describes about the tiger, and the poem consists of 5 stanzas. Each stanza has 4 lines. The rhyming scheme of the poem is ABCD. The poet has 2 settings. In the first setting, the poet describes the tiger in the zoo, and in the second setting, the poet describes the tiger in its natural habitat. Now let us know the poem in details. He stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet, and in his quiet rage. He stalks, he refers to the tiger. The tiger stalks means walks in proud way. In his vivid stripes, here vivid stripes refers the long lines on the body of the tiger. Vivid means bright. तो हम देखते हैं कि टाइगर जो कि एक पिंजड़े में है, उस टाइगर के शरीर पर लंबी लकीरें हैं जो कि चमकती हैं. The few steps of his cage, and in the next line the poet describes that he takes a few steps. Only a few steps are taken by the tiger because the area of the cage is limited. टाइगर चूंकि पिंजड़े में रहता है, लेकिन पिंजड़े का एरिया सीमित है, इसलिए वह कुछ ही कदमों तक चल सकता है, वह दौड़ नहीं सकता. In the next line we see on pads of velvet quiet. Pads refers to the paws of the tiger. बाघ के पंजे गद्देदार मुलायम होते हैं, इसलिए जब वह चलता है तो बिल्कुल आवाज नहीं होती है. In his quiet rage, as we know, the tiger is very proud, angry in nature. But since the tiger is caged, that is why his anger has also been caged. So the tiger in the cage remains quiet in spite of being very ferocious animal, roaring animal. He remains quiet. हम देखते हैं कि टाइगर बहुत ही गुस्सैला होता है, बहुत ही प्राउड होता है, लेकिन उसका गुस्सैला स्वभाव, क्योंकि वह पिंजड़े में है तो अपनी गुस्सा को जाहिर नहीं कर सकता है, इसलिए उसका गुस्सा भी पिंजड़े में बंद हो गया है, खामोशी में खो गया है. Let us move on to the next stanza. Before moving on to the next stanza, let us know the figure of speeches used in the first stanza of the poem. He refers to the tiger. Here he has been used for tiger. He का प्रयोग टाइगर के लिए हुआ है, इसलिए ही यह दर्शाता है कि टाइगर मानव की तरह व्यवहार कर रहा है, और जब कोई भी वस्तु मानव की तरह व्यवहार करती है तो उसे पर्सोनिफिकेशन यानी मानवीकरण कहा जाता है। इन द सेम लाइन देयर इज रेपिटेशन ऑफ एस साउंड, देयर इज रेपिटेशन ऑफ एस साउंड। When there is repetition of S sound in any part of the line in any word, there is prominence of S sound, consonant sound. This is known as consonance. So this is example of consonance. In the same line again, we see that there is repetition of vowel sound. So this is example of assonance. This is example of assonance. Now we see that the first line continues to the second line without any punctuation marks. So this is an example of enjambment. When two or more lines continue without any punctuation marks, this is known as enjambment. On pads of velvet quiet, in the third line of this stanza, we see that the paws of the tiger is very soft and delicate like velvet. So this is indirect comparison. So the figure of speech which has been used in this line is metaphor. And in the last line, two words having opposite meaning, quiet and rage, have been used here. So this is example of oxymoron. The rhyming scheme of the poem is ABCD. It means the second line of the poem bears resemblance the last line of this stanza. Now let us move on to the second stanza of the poem. In the second stanza, the poet describes the natural habitat and natural power of the tiger. He should be lurking in the shadow. The poet says he should be lurking in the shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. He should be lurking. He refers to the tiger, and the tiger should be hidden. He should wait eagerly by hiding in the long grasses, the shadow of the long grasses, which will help him to hide, and from there he will attack his prey. जैसा कि सेकेंड स्टेंजा में यह बताया गया है कि टाइगर छिप करके इंतजार कर रहा है अपने शिकार का, और वह कहाँ छिपा हुआ है? घास की छाया में छिपा हुआ है और छिप करके वहीं से इंतजार कर रहा है डियर के आने का। नियर द वाटर होल्स, नियर द वाटर होल्स, water holes means a small pool of water where deer often come to drink water. एक छोटा सा जलाशय जहाँ की हिरन प्रायः आते हैं पानी पीने के लिए। टाइगर इंतजार कर रहा है उस हिरन का जो कि मोटा है, ताजा है, वह आए। जैसे ही वह आएगा टाइगर उस पर झपट पड़ेगा और उसका शिकार कर डालेगा। Here we see that the tiger is waiting eagerly for the arrival of the plump deer. When the deer will come, the tiger will spring upon it and make its prey, hunt it. Now let us see the figure of a speech which has been applied in this very stanza. In the second stanza, we see that some figure of speeches have also been applied. The poet presents creates the scene of lurking tiger which is hidden. कवि एक ऐसा दृश्य प्रस्तुत करता है एक बाघ का जो कि घास में छिपा हुआ है, उसकी छाया में छिपा हुआ है। ऐसे दृश्य जब बनाए जाते हैं तो इस दृश्य को इमेजरी कहा जाता है। नेक्स्ट, ही, द वेरी वर्ड ही रेफर्स टू द टाइगर, दैट इज वाई दिस इज an example of personification. Next we see that if the second line continues to the last line without any punctuation marks, this type of device is known as enjambment, and in the last line of this stanza two consonant sounds have been used together to its nearby words P. This shows that there is alliteration in this line. Now let us move on to the third stanza of the poem. In the third stanza we see that the tiger is exercising his natural power, natural freedom. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. He should be snarling. Snarling means roaring sound, as the tiger is very famous for roaring sound, snarling sound. So if the tiger is in the jungle, what he should do? He should make a roaring sound. He should exercise his real personality around the houses which are located all around in all the direction. He should exercise his power by making a roaring sound at the jungle's edge. The jungle's edge refers to the outer area of the jungle. At the jungle's edge, this shows the outer area of the jungle where the tiger is seen bearing his white fangs. Bearing his white fangs shows that the tiger should show his two sharp white teeth and his claws, the nails, which is very terrifying. तो इस स्टेंजा में हम देखते हैं कि बाघ, टाइगर, जब वह अपने नेचुरल हैबिटेट में रहता है तो वह अपने स्वाभाविक नेचुरल पर्सनालिटी को एक्सरसाइज करता है और जंगल के किनारे वह सीमाओं पर घूमता रहता है और अपनी दो तेज दांतों को और नाखून को लोगों को दिखा करके उन्हें भयभीत करता रहता है। तो ऐसा प्रतीत होता है कि टाइगर जब जंगल में रहता है, he exercises his real personality, and this is the real personality of the tiger which has been shown here when he remains in the natural habitat and he doesn't exercise his real personality in the cage. Now let us see the figure of speech used in this very stanza. He should be snarling. He refers tiger, and this is example of personification. Here also in this very stanza the poet creates imagery, as we have seen the roaring tiger in the zoo. This roaring sound, the roaring scene, that makes a picture in our mind, and when such type of such type of pictures are created in our mind, this picture is known as imagery. In the same line, we see there is prominence of O sound. There is prominence of O sound. This O sound is a symbol of a figure of a speech, that is assonance, because the vowel sound has been repeated and there is prominence of vowel sound in this line. That is why this is example of assonance. Next, bearing his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. We see that the tiger is very keen in showing his teeth, two sharp teeth. In this way, the rhyming scheme of this stanza is the same as ABCD. Now let us move on to the next stanza of the poem. In the next stanza of the poem, we see again the scene of the tiger, which is locked in a concrete cell. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. But he is locked. The tiger's personality has been locked in a concrete cell. Concrete cell here refers the cell which has been made of concrete. टाइगर जो कि एक पिंजड़े में रहता है, टाइगर एक ऐसे घर में रहता है जो कि कंक्रीट का बना हुआ है. His strength behind bars, though he is very powerful, he is aggressive, he is ferocious, but he cannot exercise these natures in the cage because he doesn't find freedom. उसे अपने वास्तविक व्यक्तित्व को एक्सरसाइज करने की कोई आज़ादी नहीं है. उसे बहुत सारी शक्तियां हैं, लेकिन उन शक्तियों को वह प्रयोग नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि वह पिंजड़े में बंद है. और ऐसी स्थिति में उसके व्यक्तित्व बिल्कुल सीमित हो चुके हैं. Stalking the length of his cage, though he is walking in a proud way, but in spite of walking in a proud way, he cannot exercise his power because he is in a cage. Though in the zoo, when he is in the cage, visitors go there, but he ignores the visitors because he is very sad. He cannot enjoy, he cannot exercise his power. इसलिए वह बिल्कुल अपने शक्ति का इस्तेमाल नहीं कर पाता और वह सीमित दायरा में रहता है, और सीमित दायरा में रहने के चलते वह अपनी शक्ति को दबा करके रहता है. Now let us see the figure of a speech which has been used in this very stanza. In this very stanza, we see that he is locked in a concrete cell. The very word concrete cell shows the repetition of the same sound C. There is use of alliteration. When the same consonant sound to its nearby words are repeated again and again, this type of literary device is known as alliteration. Next, the poet also creates a scene, imagery in the mind of the readers. When we see the tiger or such type of scene is presented in our mind, about the tiger who is in the cage, who has been put behind the bar. This type of scene is created in our mind. This is known as imagery. Again, in the next line, there is a repetition of the same consonant sound B. Behind bars. This is the example of alliteration. This is example of alliteration. In this way, we see that many literary devices have been used and the rhyming scheme of the stanza is the same as told above. Now let us move on towards the next stanza of the poem, which is the last stanza. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. He hears the last voice at night. The tiger listens the last voice in the night. The activity of the people are going on, but it is the tiger who hears the activity and the sound of the patrolling cars. The cars which are keeping an eye on the activity of the people. It is the tiger who hears the last voice of the cars and stares with his brilliant eyes. He looks fixedly with his shining eyes towards the sky, towards the twinkling stars in the sky, and he asks the stars for what he has been caged for a long time, for which sin he has been put behind the bar. He asks the stars, that tiger which is there in the cage, वह आकाश की ओर देखता है, चमकते हुए तारों की ओर, और वह तारों से पूछना चाहता है कि वह पिंजड़े में क्यों बंद है, आखिर उसे किस अपराध का पश्चाताप करना है कि वह पिंजड़े में बंद है और उसे हमेशा अपने प्रश्नों के जवाब के लिए तारों की ओर देखना पड़ता है. Now let us know the figure of speeches used in this stanza. He hears in the first line of this stanza the very sound he has been repeated. This is example of alliteration, and the poet creates a scene of night in which the tiger is there in the cage and he is listening the sound of patrolling cars. This scene has been created in the mind of readers, so this is example of imagery. In this way, the poem A Tiger in the Zoo is complete. For main points and theme, if you want to know, you have to go to the link and find the theme and main point of the poem, and never forget to subscribe the channel if you like it.